edition of TEEJ Talks, and we at Rato Bangala are very happy to host it at the Kamal Mani Theatre. A very warm welcome to the four speakers participating on the panel today: Honorable Rajendra Lingam, Ms. Usha Sechan, Mr. Santosh Shah, and Ms. Samriti Rai. Welcome to the Saathi team and to all our guests, RDS parents, students, teachers. Thank you for taking time off your busy schedules and attending this program. Thank you, Vandana Rana and the Saathi team for this partnership. It gives me immense pleasure to have you and your team here today. I believe this is inspired by TED Talks. I think it follows the same format. And it is attractive to us educators because it is a forum to effect change. And educators will always go for that. Sharing transformational experiences and inspiring others, learning from each other on how one individual can make positive change to challenge traditional practices that infringe on the rights of different members of the society, particularly the rights of girls and women, which is Saathi's focus. There are many religious practices that have been ingrained in our minds since our childhood. We accept these unquestioningly, even when we know that they are either discriminatory or based on superstition. The argument is that some of these traditions are a part of culture and it needs to be preserved. We don't want to anger our grandmothers, we don't want to anger our mothers, and we just continue and confirm. For example, the practices around menstruation. So many of us, educated women, may protest against openly, but many of us are completely comfortable about the fact that menstruation is a completely biological factor and touching or not touching anyone and anything has nothing to do with it. So why are we following the traditions? How many of us can say that I can touch anyone and anything, even conduct puja during menstruation? If we can do that, then we have really transformed ourselves. How many of us feel that we don't need to announce that we are menstruating because it is our private matter and that no one needs to judge any girl or put her apart during those 4 days? Many things have changed in our lifetime, but a lot needs to be done, as Vandana will say later, and all the panelists. With education, awareness has grown, but it has not led to behavior change anywhere and everywhere. How many of us boycott Rishi Panchami? Think about it. Because we think it's ridiculous, because it was a story that somebody told from long ago about a woman who got sick because she touched her kitchen and cooked during menstruation. That is the legend that we've heard from our grandmothers and from the stories that we read. But Rishi Panchami is also said to be a time where you atone for your sins. Then don't men have to atone for their sins? Only women atone for their sins? So that is totally ridiculous. And the story of the girl who was sick and somebody came and told her, a rishi told her that she got sick because she, did not follow the practices in her previous life. Okay, how can we continue that tradition is a big question, but we still continue to participate in it, perhaps because it is fun to be with your family and sisters and mothers and aunts. Well, that can be a fun activity, but then why do we have to believe the story and continue the tradition that is quite, hard to believe? TEEJ is another festival that appears to perpetuate patriarchy. Many of us still fast in TEEJ because it is fun social activity and never question the fact that fasting in TEEJ is not why we might get a good husband or for a husband to have a long and healthy life. We all know that this is not scientific, but many of us follow the tradition, in the name of tradition again. While it is necessary to rethink and reevaluate our cultural practices, it is remarkable how TEEJ is now celebrated not as a symbol of patriarchy, but as a festival of women's empowerment. Perhaps that is how we should deal with cultural practices, claim them for ourselves and turn their message around. Let me end on a personal note. The year that we got married, more than 35 years ago, my husband thought it was unfair that only I got to fast in TEEJ. So ever since, every year, for the last almost 40 years, he has fasted in solidarity with me on TEEJ. That was his way of protesting because he believes in equality, empowerment, and joy. It's true, and as we are reminded by Margaret Mead's quote, Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world, and I think we have them in this room. I wish you all a very happy TEEJ. Enjoy the discussions and welcome once again to TEEJ Talks. I'd like to call on stage Ms. Bandana Rana. I want to introduce her in a little bit of a detail because of the students also. I think she needs no introduction, but I'll do a little bit of an introduction. I've known Bandana for a long time, and she started about the same time we started the school. I think Saathi started, 1992. So she has had 3 decades of experience in promoting women's rights and gender equality at the grassroots, national, regional, and global. She is one of the founders and currently the strategic director of Saathi, a pioneer NGO working on violence against women and girls in Nepal. Ms. Rana worked with Nepal Television as editor and anchor for 20 years. She's a familiar face to everyone because she was anchor. She founded Sancharika Samha, Forum for Women in Media, and was its first elected president. She has led programs and studies related to gender-based violence in conflict situations. Among other notable achievements, such as being the lead consultant for the Ministry of Peace and Reconstruction, conducting training programs on UNSCR 1325 NEP in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Northeast India. She is well known for being the first Nepali national to be elected as one of the members of the Committee on the Elimination of Discrimination Against Women, CEDAW. She is also a member of the UN Women Global Civil Society Advisory Group and Advisory Group for Women, Peace and Security for UN SCAP. Let's give her a big hand.